When we think of Jesus clearing the temple, most of us have a TV budget movie in mind. You know, a couple of tables, a few chickens squawking around, a couple of angry merchants. What we miss then is the scale of what Jesus did that day. And to really get inside that story, we need a whole new scale. We need a whole new set of proportion. Something like this. Grand Central Station, New York City. 750,000 people cross these courtyards every day. That's 50% of the population of Manhattan. This is 48 acres of terminus. There are 44 platforms. Opened on the 2nd of February 1913 by Whitney Warren, who wanted to bring some Parisian flair to an emerging city. So if we're looking for something that has the scale and the presence and the majesty, if you like, of the temple, then Grand Central is a pretty good comparable. The temple itself was 15% of the footprint of the entire city of Jerusalem. It had 15 magnificent stories. 300 to 400,000 pilgrims would crowd across its courtyard during Passover. It was an iconic building, the highest point on the horizon in Jerusalem. And so Jesus marches purposefully into the temple and makes his way straight to the courtyard of the Gentiles. Again, this is a courtyard that has the presence and the scale of this great concourse. And this concourse is filled with converts, thousands of converts to Judaism. And here they come to make their sacrifice. Now to do that, they have to exchange their Greek and their Roman money for temple money. They then take that temple money and they purchase animals for sacrifice. If you're wealthy, that will be a sheep, that will be a lamb. If you are poor, that might be something as small as a bird. But the prices are exorbitant. The practice is corrupt, and the people have absolutely no choice. And remember, this is a critical time in the Jewish calendar. Thousands of pilgrims are flooding into this temple. And we also have, of course, the Roman army that are garrisoned as close as 42nd Street is to us now. They're right there. And yet Jesus comes into this courtyard and he clears it. He says, this is a house of prayer, but you have made it a house of robbers. Can you imagine the scale of his fury to clear a courtyard that is as full and as large and as busy as this? So why was Jesus so mad, and why the scale of his anger and fury? Well, Isaiah 56 gave the Jewish people, and in particular the Jewish religious authorities, a very special charge with regard to the alien and the poor and the oppressed. The Lord made a space for them within his courts. What Jesus encountered that day was not only were they precluded from taking that place, but they were exploited in their weakness. What we see in Jesus' actions was not temple reformation. This was God's judgment upon the temple. And of course, none of that was lost on the religious authorities. In that season, Caiaphas was the high priest, and he summoned his men around him and plotted for Jesus' death. The events that would transpire in the coming days would change the face of the planet for every man, woman, and child, and for eternity. And the fuse had just been lit.